Hi there, welcome to CND Speycasting School. My name is Tommy Aarkvisla. Today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to improve your speycasting, and we start up with a single spey. Okay, then we start. The first thing I really want to talk about is how to hold the rod and the cork. So I kind of see a lot of different stuff. The way I do it is not like this, holding here and kind of holding here. So what I like to do, I take the rod, I put it in my flat hand, and I just have my shoulders and arms straight down, and that's kind of the length of my grip. Although you can change it if you want, but this is a nice start to find your grip. So what I do is I put this one into my hand, I take my thumb up and I take my thumb up. So that's my grip. So when I speycast, this is my two strongest fingers. Another thing is your feet. How should you use your feet while casting? So what I like to do, I like to use a locked stand, not an open one. I like the locked one. So I use my right foot to aim what I'm going to cast for. So you won't be able to follow it 100% sure. It's more like a way to aim. And when you rotate, you can just follow your feet out. And when I do this, I kind of do like Charlie Chaplin. I stand like this with my feet. So this one is pointing out. This was a little bit on the side. This is side. This is all about having control. You get a good position. You can move around. It's better for your balance. Super important. Okay. So the next thing I like to talk about is how to get stronger. And when you do a single spey, I want you to move a little bit back and forward when you're casting. It's almost like a boxer. If you're standing still, throwing a punch, it will hurt. But for sure, if you really move your body into something, you are much stronger. So I prefer that as well. And the last thing is, when you do all the casting, what I see sometimes people have the arms far out. Well, I can tell you this, if you're going to do an arm wrestling match with your arm out here, you will lose everything. But if you're coming closer to your body, you're much stronger. Your position here is much stronger than out here. So I like to, not like this, but free, effortless, around body and close to your body. Not too close, but in an effortless way. The next thing I like to do, I don't have all the answers, but for sure. So what I like to hold my hand in this position. A lot of people do like this. I don't like that. I'm going to try to explain why. So when you hold this, I want the rod tip to go straight up. So if you see the rod tip go straight up, then the rod tip is far away as possible, because you want a long sweep in your setup. What you often see is people, they are not lifting the rod tip up, they're kind of lifting the rod up and towards you. Then the rod tip is on side of you. Then you have much shorter the length of the stroke on your setup. So I want it to be quite a bit far away, then you have all the time in the world to just do a nice setup. About the rod tip up and this angle between those two hands is the same angle all through the whole cast. By doing it this way, you will get your underarm out, and the position of the rod when you do your forward stroke will be perfect, I think. So this angle and the rod tip straight up, not towards yourself. Then you will lose a little bit of your length of your stroke. So both arms sideways, sideways, up again, and you can just stop the rod when you're casting out. Okay, so when you do your lift, there's a super important thing, and actually I think it was Brian Steischel who showed me once, nice expression. I want you to lift the rod tip up painfully slow. You can actually do this super slow and super late. You don't have to rush anything. So if you just take your time, so you just lift slow. It's super easy to find a nice place, you know, when you do your setup. So I call this, you know, when I have in the rod, not on like this, but on the side, it's so easy for me to do what I call a sideways sweep. It's a huge difference about backwards and sideways. So probably you want to take the tip of the rod a little bit down after the lift and then point almost to the trees. So I kind of go sideways, up again. And what happens now is your line will come flat in. So when the line comes flat in, you use the tapering of the line and it starts rolling from the first point of the taper. And the line will go super fine in the air. And it's super important to if you want a good turn or your fly. You know, in Norway we also fish with, you know, some heavy flies. Probably in Sweden, Denmark, everybody, any other country around Scandinavia. So even now it's windy, you kind of, you go, oh, that was too windy. Okay, so the first one, I steal in the angle, painfully slow, roll tip straight up, and a sideways sweep. So the position you want when you do a forward stroke, you want your rod to be not flat, but as far behind as possible, so you got a long stroke. Even with the shorter heads and what people can call a Scandi line, I don't know why they call it, but casting is casting. But I think if you have sideways, flatten the rod, the right position for both arms to work, and just have a long stroke and stop in a right straight line, your shooting head will just go. And you can cast, I know you can cast extremely far with it, but of course it's easy to cast short as well. Sometimes you actually need to cast short. If you're really good at casting long, you have no problem casting short. So sideways, up again, stop the rod high, and the line will go. So when you do this, try to move a little bit back and forward. First time I picked up a 200 rod, the guy who showed me, he said, it's not about casting, it's the guy who can stop the rod the hardest to cast the longest. I have to say there's more to it than that, but of course just to stop the rod is super important. So stop it and the line just boom, straight out. So that's kind of my way to do a single spey. If you have some questions, don't be afraid, contact us on our Facebook site or Instagram, or send me the mails, and we will try to help you out.